is a hood classic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little different than anything else I've posted on my channel. If you haven't noticed, my channel is like all over the place. I got all types of videos, but that's just because I haven't really found my niche yet. And then I also have a lot of different interests, so I try to show my personality and my interests within my videos. So from time to time, it's gonna be like random videos. You're gonna be like, hold on, where this come from? Tish, where you going with this? But anyway, in today's video, I want to share with you all my small book collection. For those of you who may not be familiar with me, I am actually a person who has loved to read my whole entire life. When I was in high school, I was actually a part of the Battle of the Books team, where I had to read a lot of different books and just pay attention to small details and be quizzed upon them and stuff like that. So I've always had like a thirst for reading, and yeah, I have amassed a small book collection over the years, and I'm actually in the process of decluttering my house. And so some of these books I'm going to be getting rid of, and some of them are very dear to my heart, so I'm going to have to keep them and make sure that they're easily accessible so that I can refer back to them and reread as many times as I want to. But anyway, let's just jump into the video, and I'm going to show you guys the books that I have. So I was going through this phase. I don't even want to say it's a phase, because I really do like these type of books, but I like suspense type thriller books as well as the movies, but I like to read them too, like mysterious types of novels. And one of my favorite authors is Johansson. As a matter of fact, some of her books have actually been converted into films, like Lifetime movies and stuff like that. But yeah, I have a few of her books. The first novel I have by Johansson is entitled Eve, and it's actually part of, I believe it's like a trilogy. So it's Eve, then after Eve you read Quinn, and then you read Bonnie. And I like it because it leaves you on like a cliffhanger, and Eve is trying to figure out what happened to her daughter Bonnie. So you go through all the thrills and stuff that she's going through this quest to find answers as to what happened to her daughter. The latest book that I got from Johansson is called What Doesn't Kill You. Now this isn't a part of the Eve trilogy, but it's actually a good book, another good suspense thriller type of book. So if you're looking for an author who makes those type of books, I really recommend that you check out Johansson. Now the queen of suspense, of course, is Mary Higgins Clark, and she's another one of my favorite authors, and I have some of her books as well. I only have 3 of her books so far, but I have a collection. I'm gonna speak it into existence. I have just started my collection of Johansson and Mary Higgins Clark books, and I need to add to my collection, but I have 3 books in particular by Mary Higgins Clark. The first one is Where Are You Now? I heard that song before. And the last one is I'll Be Seeing You. She's the queen of suspense, and she was the first author that I was reading who was making those type of books, and she's what got me into suspense novels to begin with. And her stuff is a very nice read, but you run through it because it's very engaging and keeps you on the edge of your seats. And a few of her books have also been converted into films as well. A lot of them were like on the Lifetime movie network as well. I also went through a phase where I was reading a lot of erotic romance type of novels, and I jumped on the bandwagon of the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy. I can't say that I really enjoyed those books, so I'm definitely going to be trying to sell these books or donate these books. But yeah, I have 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. Then I went and I got 50 Shades Darker, and I followed it up by 50 Shades Freed. And I read these books. I read them in their entirety, and I just didn't get the hype. I never saw what the rest of the world saw in these. I know these have also been converted into films, and I watched one of them. I don't even know if I watched the movie the whole way through, but I it did nothing for me. But yes, I'm definitely going to be selling these books soon. I want to sell them as a set, just, you know, so the next person can read them all together like I did. I also have this book right here called A Taste of Honey. As you can see by the cover, this looks a little nasty, but this also has some action in here as well. It's not all just romance. It's kind of like a hood novel, if you get my drift, if you know what I mean by that. But yeah, it's by Darren Coleman, and I think I may want to keep this in my collection. This was a very good read. It's an easy read too. It's not that long. I have this book here by T.D. Jakes called Cover Girls, and this is a book about different women from different backgrounds that's going through different complexities within life and how they try to balance their needs with their belief in God. And this was a very nice book. I loved reading about the journey of the women in this book. Very good read. Now, if you've ever read the book Waiting to Exhale or seen the movie Waiting to Exhale, then you know it's based on a book by Terry McMillan. So I went through a little Terry McMillan phase, and after I watched the movie Waiting to Exhale, I knew that there was supposed to be a sequel. Well, she wrote a sequel to it called Getting Too Happy. So I had to go and I had to read the book because I had to find out what happened to Savannah and the rest of the girls, you know, at the end of Waiting to Exhale. And yeah, I can't say that I was all the way satisfied with how that story ended up, and I wouldn't be too mad at her if she never came out with the movie for this, even though I did hear that they were gonna, you know, come out with a movie for this one just like they did Waiting to Exhale. But to me, nah, just don't even touch it, because I really didn't too much care for it. But I do think that I'm probably going to keep it in my collection just because just the story of these ladies and their friendships and their struggles and stuff is very important to me and stuff. So yeah, I think I'm definitely going to hang on to it. But like I said, I wouldn't really recommend it. If you wanted to know how the ladies ended up, then yeah, definitely check it out. While I was at it, I had to make sure that I got some other books by Terry McMillan, because I mean, if you know anything about her, then you know that her novel Mama was very popular. And this is about a woman who's tough, who's funny, who's feisty, and she's doing everything that she can to keep her family together. And she's doing everything she can to keep her family together. So yeah, I really love this book. I'm never letting it go. Very good read by Terry McMillan. So pick this up if you haven't already. I also have A Day Late and $1 Short by Terry McMillan. This is another very good read by Terry McMillan. This was also adapted into a film as well. I think this is probably Terry McMillan's best book, and it's about the love of family and just redeeming yourself and stuff. And it has some, it's a tough read at times. I shed a lot of tears, you know, some very traumatic stuff that happened within this book, but it's a very good read. So I definitely recommend this if you're looking for something to start out your Terry McMillan journey through her books. Start off with A Day Late and $1 Short. Another author that I started off enjoying and I had to make sure that I got her collection of books is, of course, Sister Souljah. I mean, this is a classic book right here. The Coldest Winter Ever. I mean, come on now. Winter, Santiago, and freaking Midnight and all that. Come on. Everybody knows about this. This is a hood classic. This is the story of a wealthy girl who was the daughter of a drug dealer, and just her life and her struggles. And when I tell you it's a good read that kept me on my toes, it was a page turner for sure. So yeah, this was a really good book. I love it, and it's a classic. It's one of a lot of people's favorite books. And yeah, I had to get the hard copy. I don't think I mentioned this before, but I don't like digital books. I prefer to read books that I can actually put my hands on. And yeah, it's definitely a classic. Never letting this go. The follow-up to this book actually came out a few months ago, and I read the reviews beforehand. I also watched YouTube reviews on the book or whatever about Winter's Story, and a lot of people were not pleased with the follow-up, so I didn't even bother to buy that book or to even check it out at the library, because it just gave so many different negative reviews, and I just didn't have time, honestly, to waste my time. So I was like, you know what, just hearing what happened was enough for me. And I know that they also have the version where you can like listen to it, and it's narrated by Nia Long if you would like to check that out. I do have Sister Souljah's books that she made on her character Midnight. Look, I have Midnight and the Meaning of Love, and Midnight is intelligent, he's a fierce fighter, and he's like a ninjutsu trained ninja warrior from the hood. He has his specific beliefs and his wives and stuff. So yeah, it was an interesting read. I'm definitely gonna probably be giving my Midnight books away. I have all 3 of the Midnight books. I enjoyed this one the most, as you can tell. It's got a little wear to it. So yeah, this one was really good. And then I tried to get through Midnight Against the Love Story. I tried to, but I don't even think I read the whole thing. But yeah, Midnight, he's a soldier. He doesn't believe in guns, but he definitely makes sure that he gets down how he needs to. And yeah, I also got A Moment of Silence, which is the 3rd book in the Midnight trilogy that Sister Souljah put together. And honestly, Sister Souljah incorporates a lot of her religious beliefs in her books. Specifically, I noticed there a lot more in the Midnight books, and that's why I didn't particularly take a liking to it. It was just a little too much religious undertones for me, so that's why I didn't really care for it too much. And I heard that the same thing basically happened in the follow-up to Winter Santiago's story, A Coldest Winter Ever, so that's why I didn't even bother to purchase that book. But yeah, these books I will definitely be either selling or donating. Okay, so I was in the store one day and I seen this book right here, and it is called You Can't Touch My Hair and Other Things I Still Have to Explain, and it's by Phoebe Robinson. And I started reading this book. I haven't finished it yet, but I definitely have to finish it. And it's so funny because it's just so relatable, and it's just basically telling about the things that we go through as Black women and stuff that we have to explain to people that we really shouldn't, like tell people why it's not okay to be touching all in our hair and stuff like that. It's just different prejudice and stuff that we face in everyday life. Phoebe tackles, and she hits the nail on the head for sure. So yeah, this is definitely a great read. I also purchased this book. This is one of my most recent purchases that I purchased, and this book is called Don't Waste You're Pretty, and it's by Demetria Lucas. And I first heard of Demetria Lucas because she was on a reality show that was on Bravo not too long ago called Blood, Sweat, and Heels. And I really liked her character. She was a very strong woman, and she was also she's also a life coach, and she also gives relationship advice. And I bought this book, although I'm like, why did I buy this book in the first place? I'm married. I don't need no dating or relationship advice. You know what I'm saying? No shade, especially not from nobody that's been divorced. But I didn't finish this book. I don't really care for it too much, honestly. I'm gonna probably either gift it to somebody or put it up for sale or donate it. But yeah, it's just like a lot of different anonymous questions that Demetria was receiving from single people that are on their journey to find love and relationships, and it's her giving her honest opinion and answers on what they should do, different decisions they should make and stuff like that, which, you know, is great for some single people. So maybe I might get this to somebody that I know that may, you know, benefit from it. But for me, it didn't really do much for me, didn't hold my interest or anything like that. Speaking of dating and relationship type advice, I do have this book right here, and this is called Sacred Marriage, and it's by Gary Thomas. And it's saying that, what if God designed marriage to make us holy more than to make us happy? And that is a very interesting question, and that's what made me decide to buy this book, because I never really thought about that. Because when you think about marriage, you think about it as something that's designed to make you happy, but what if that's not the sole purpose of marriage? And yeah, this is definitely an important read, and I suggest that you read this book You know, even if you aren't married, you know what I'm saying? And if you are married, read this with your spouse, you guys. So if you don't know Evelyn Lozada, then I guess you don't watch Basketball Wives. But Evelyn Lozada is one of the stars of the reality show Basketball Wives that airs on VH1. She wrote a book a few years ago, and it's called Inner Circle. And it's basically, it's a work of fiction, she said. I think she did incorporate some things that have happened in real life, but of course she changed the names and the players and stuff in the book. But yeah, it's basically talking about wives of basketball players and different scandalous things that they go through in their private lives. And baby, this book was really good, and I was so surprised because, you know, when you see Evelyn on TV, she's always throwing glasses and popping bottles across people's faces and all this and that, but she writes really well, and this book was really good, and it actually ended on a cliffhanger, and she was supposed to come out with a second book, but the publishing company that she was working with is Cash Money Content. I don't think that deal went through. There was some issues with that, and so the book never came, and a lot of us have been begging her to write a follow-up to it. But a few years ago she said that there isn't going to be a follow-up, which is a bummer because it's such a good book. And like I said, it ended on a cliffhanger. So Evelyn, if you ever watch this, girl, please just reconsider it, please, because you did your thing. You're a very good writer. I believe that everybody should have some books and stuff that kind of like help them through dark periods in their lives and like give them some type of motivation, because I feel like, you know, life is full of peaks and valleys, and sometimes we go through things and we need some type of push to know that we're gonna make it through whatever we're going through. So one of the books that I have that has been very beneficial to me in going through different trials and tribulations in my life is The Supernatural Power of Forgiveness. A lot of times we go through things and we want to point the blame at people and be like, you hurt me, da 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 da, you hurt me, and just hold on to the different burdens that come with that, different pain that we've experienced. But you know, sometimes we have to learn how to forgive. And so I really enjoyed this book, and this book was actually written by a father and son. It's Chris and Jason Valotone. I probably mispronounced this, but this was a very, very good book, and it tells you that heartbreak makes room for God's power. Really good book. I also have a book by Joyce Myers. This is one of her first books, if I'm not mistaken, and it's called Battlefield of the Mind. And this is basically helping you to win the battle within your mind when you're going through like depression and anger and feelings of condemnation, worry, and doubt. And this book was actually suggested to me from one of my counselors a few years ago, and very important. It's one of those books where you're reading and you need to be jotting down notes and stuff, and it'll help you through whatever you're going through. Speaking of motivational books, I mean, if y'all haven't already, you need to go and watch my book review on this book right here by my cousin, Mr. Kelvin Smith Sr. And this is called The Unlikely Candidate. You see, and this book is by my big cousin, and it's about his amazing journey as a heart transplant recipient. So yeah, very great read. He's an amazing author too. I said, oh, okay. It inspired me a lot. And you know, don't be surprised if in the future you see a book by me. You know what I'm saying? I may write a book in the future. I also have this book called The Storm Has a Ministry too, and it's by Wanda Briscoe, and I actually know this author as well. Her sons are my cousin through marriage. They're more like my husband's brothers, because she is such a powerful woman. She has been through many obstacles in her life too. She's a cancer survivor, and she's just talking about different storms that she has went through in her life and how she's overcome it. And her life is just amazing. She's such a strong woman. She's such an inspiration, and it's just showing us that storms are inevitable, but let's conquer them with boldness and victory. So yeah, definitely check that out if you haven't already. Speaking of authors that I know, this book here is by Caden LeBray, and I actually went to school with him. His name was Kason Cheeks back then, but he's going by Caden LeBray now. And this is called The Keys to Freedom. When you get so tired that you can't sleep. And so, yeah, definitely have to pick this up. I haven't completed reading it yet, but I think it's just so cool that somebody that I know that's around my age wrote a book, and he's talking about financial freedom. And I said, oh, I need to know what that's about, so let me read this and take some notes. But yeah, it's really cool. Another book in my collection is called Unbreakable, My Story, My Way, and this is the official autobiography of Jenny Rivera. She grew up so poor. She went through a lot of different struggles in her life, and her being a single mom and literally having to fight in a male-dominated industry is very commendable. And man, I miss her. Her story is one of triumph, and her life had a tragic end, but I'm just so thankful that she wrote this book for us, and it's her autobiography, it's her story. I miss her like I knew her, I ain't gonna lie. Speaking of great reads, this next book that I'm about to show you guys is, not only is it a great read, but this book is very important to me in my life, and I make sure that this author knows it. Every time she mentions this book, like on Instagram and her little captions or anything, any reference that she makes to this book, I'm always in the comment section and I let her know how much this book means to me. And she's actually replied several times and thanked me for my comment and how much I expressed to her that this book means a lot to me in my life. And I feel like whenever somebody has made a positive impact in your life, you should definitely let them know that. This book right here is called My Mother's Rules, and it's by Judge Lynn Toyer. She used to be on divorce court, and she's also one of the counselors on a marriage boot camp. But this book right here is, it's a memoir, but it's also a self-help book, and it's where she's reflecting on her life and different things that her mother has taught her throughout the years, and how you can regulate your emotions. And the biggest thing that I took away from this book is that we're in control of our emotions. Don't let our emotions take control of us. And that's definitely helped me get through some very difficult situations in my life. And oh my god, I love this book, and I reflect back to this book and I take notes on this book. I'm not even gonna lie, this is my favorite book. My most recent purchase was this book right here, and it's by First Lady Michelle Obama, and it's called Becoming. And I picked up this one that says adapted for young readers, and that's just because that was the one that I saw at the time and it was on sale for $10. So I said, hey, it's gonna have the same information as the regular one. So I picked it up, and I mean, the first black African-American first lady, she wrote a book. Yeah, of course I'm going to buy it. As an African-American woman, I feel like it's my duty to buy this biography and read it. It's so funny because one of my best friends that's getting married with me, she had this book listed on her registry, and I bought it for her bridal shower gift, because I was like, okay, this is so cool. We could both read this book and take notes on it, and then like discuss it and stuff, and kind of like have like a little book club or like book discussion about this particular book. So yeah, I ain't told her that yet, but yeah, I'll probably let her know that that's what we need to do, and I probably will read this book and maybe do a review and maybe talk to you guys about it, because yeah, I really do feel like this is an important book for us to read. You know what I'm saying? She was the first black African-American first lady. Speaking of influential African-American women, I also picked up the book Just As I Am by Cicely Tyson. And now Cicely Tyson, that woman, she lived a very long and incredible life, and I feel like any woman who lives as long as she does has pearls of wisdom. And I've always been the type of person that it's like I've always said, I'm a grandma's baby. I was always very close to my grandma. I've always gravitated towards older women, specifically older black women, because that's what I was always around. And I just felt like I just want to be in their presence and just soak in their wisdom and stuff. They could teach you so much about life, and I just felt like anybody that lived this long, I need to read. And she left us this gift. she blessed us with this gift. Yes, it's my duty to pick up this book and to read it. She had a long and extraordinary life, and yeah, I haven't completed reading this one yet, but once I do, I will definitely make a video on this too, because I can only imagine the gems that she left us with. Well, you guys, that's it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, it's a little bit something different for my channel, but yeah, it was very important to me because I'm a very passionate reader, and like I said, I'm in the process of decluttering, so some of these books I will be selling or donating or gifting away. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and drop down in the comment sections and let me know some books that you feel like I need to read and stuff, because once I get rid of these, I'm probably gonna be trying to buy some more. I know I say I'm trying to declutter, but yeah, I love reading. Like I said, I love to have a book in my hands. All right, you guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.